Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Robin, this is Digital Wilds, and welcome back to Darkest of Days. Last time you saw us chase Captain Petrovich through the eastern front of the First World War. This time we'll be proceeding backwards through time to the US Civil War. Let's get going.
Alright, I got good news. You already know how to use this war's weapons. That's the only good news there is. You know about this battle. It's the bloodiest day of American history. The Battle of Antietam in the Civil War. This is the night before all the shit flies. You'll be scouting rebel positions and learning the lay of the land while moving into position to meet Joseph Welsh. If you're lucky, we might even find him tonight. That'd save a whole lot of hassle. You're going in just outside of Union Camp. You'll be attached to a scout patrol. Join them and follow orders as you move ahead. Keep your eyes peeled, your head down, and your powder dry.
So that's that. Let's get into the mission. You'll see that the game is a little bit brighter in this episode. I've turned the gamma setting down so that you can see this and it renders a little bit better on YouTube so we don't get as much hideous compression on the dark areas. Let's go. So the good news is we do have a revolver, which gives us a reasonable rate of fire, but the bad side is that we have this musket, which is, well, I'll demonstrate. That is not a generous rate of fire, to say the very least, and even with all three rate of fire upgrades that you can get, it doesn't get much better. So you are best to grab a Confederate repeater as soon as you possibly can for these Civil War missions.
We're going to scout through the swamp, least up to the road. Patrol 1, head along the North Ridge. 2 and 3, you're taking the southern route. Rest of you boys just head on down the middle. It's going to be tough to spot those graybacks in the dark, so be careful.
Okay, so we're in yet another heavily forested landscape covered in hills. Now this might be period accurate, but one also suspects that they didn't want to have to waste too much effort on the landscape generation for this game, as 8 Monkey Labs were not a particularly given to putting a lot of effort into some elements of their games, as we learned in the last episode. So let's follow our scout friends along and see what the Confederates are up to. There doesn't seem to be any kind of stamina mechanic in this game. You really just can charge ahead as quickly as you like for as long as you like, which is ideal for getting around quickly, but is perhaps not entirely realistic. Shh, I'm hunting wabbits. There we have, on the horizon, animated very poorly, as though they're I think, as Yahtzee put it, models in a total war game. We have the first Confederates of the mission. I won't open fire yet, although if this game is operating how I remember it, it won't be long until gunfire breaks out. Oh, yeah, there we go. First shooting. I believe we're about to see some very poorly animated combat going on here. I might go in and help my comrades out. Down he goes. One shot, one kill. I suspect that ratio will not be maintained for the rest of the game. I do apologise in advance. So I get the opportunity here to swap for a Confederate weapon, which you'll want to do very, very swiftly because they have an actually acceptable rate of fire. Allow me to demonstrate. That's much more like it. If this was an entirely realistic game, and evidently it's not, then the Confederates having this weapon would have meant they won the war, pretty much, because by rate of fire alone, they would have been able to outgun the Union very, very easily. So despite having done a module on the Civil War in my master's degree in American history, I am not very au fait with a lot of the combat or the battles. I understand Antietam was the biggest, and it was, as the introduction to the level said, the bloodiest day in American military history. But my focus was more on trade and international diplomacy. It was the Civil War in global context was the module, and I studied the influence of Liverpool in the UK on the Confederate war economy. It was quite an interesting little story, actually. They built warships for the Confederacy, they ran spy operations, and there was counter-espionage operations by the Union. You had this 19th century little James Bond-style escapades going on. It was really interesting. Oh no, not Rebs. They're not wrong, though. Oh, I got yelled at. I don't think I was meant to start a firefight here, but here we are. I rescind what I said earlier. This Confederate army doesn't seem to be very difficult to kill at all. Oh, down I go. There's my first death of the game. I'll restart and see you back at the gully. So I'm back in the saddle after the unfortunate incident with the musket balls and my fleshy human body. We'll hopefully be able to pass this by without causing as much fuss this time.
Imagine what'd happen if one of you idiots gave us away.
Shut your pie hole and we'll find out.
Brilliant voice acting there from the Union Army. I guess none of them did theatre sports as a training exercise. Temptation to open fire overwhelming.
Let's head down the road some and pick up a path heading north through the woods.
Much as I like the map in front of your face mechanic, I am now charging around the woods staring at a piece of paper held 3 inches in front of my face, and I am very likely to charge straight into a rock if I know anything about what I'm like. Oh, we got some lovely banjo music. Yeehaw! Grab your jug and let's have us a hoedown.
Holy crapola, look at that.
Now, let's try and do this quietly.
So, despite the banjo music, nobody seems to be actually playing the banjo. They're standing around, not talking to anyone. But I'm a damn Yank. There we go, that's much better. Don't seem to have been fazed at all by the firefight happening 50 yards away. Are we supposed to kill them all? Possibly? Evidently so. So there goes our first guy who must not be killed of the game. I'm going to take his friends out with this revolver, which is much easier at close range than trying to reload the terrible rifles of this era. And we'll press forward to try and clear this camp out. And there's another one. So if I chuck the Pokeballs at him, down he goes. Oh, we have our first officer with a sword. Clearly didn't do me much harm. Oh, and you've got to go down as well. That's another experience point for me. Yep, that's it. War's over. Time to go home. Slaves are free now. The whole camp having about 4 tents doesn't exactly fill me with confidence in the Confederate Army. Plus, there's not nearly as much typhus here as there was in the actual war. Ooh, what's this? Is this a sniper rifle? I'm pretty sure this isn't historically accurate. I don't think they had rifle scopes at this point in history. Did they? If you know military history or you know guns, please let me know, because I'm pretty sure that's not right. However, it does indicate one thing that I do know well, which is video games, and that's there's a sniper section coming up. Yes, I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking it's just the developers being lazy again. Pokeball, I choose you! Well, that might have blown our cover, but doesn't seem too bad for now. Sneaky, sneaky, slip through. Sneaky, sneaky, sneak. Hey, Rebs. What you doing? Standing around getting aimed at with a rifle, that's what you're doing. I don't think Jefferson Davis is a legitimate president, nor do I accept that this is a war about states' rights. Also, I don't particularly care for the banjo or bourbon. Yeah, that's it. Owned them. Owned them on the internet. Oh no, we're in the corn. Are we supposed to fight in the cornfield? Or are we supposed to proceed? No, we're supposed to just go to the manor. I don't care about my comrades. They don't have the right aura around them. Well, we don't have an overt sniper section, but I can see a guy very clearly silhouetted against the fire there, so I might as well just take the opportunity while I can. And down he goes. That guy has to not die, so in the leg. Down he goes. Well, whether or not they had sniper weapons back then, they're quite effective. There's another guy over there who I need to Pokeball, and I can't remember where he is. One down. Uh-oh, this was a mistake. This was an error. I accept your legitimate concern about states' rights. Note for future listeners, I don't actually believe that. That's nonsense. Yeah, that's right. I don't consider Florida a very nice holiday destination. I think your over-reliance on fatty and deep-fried foods is deeply damaging to the nation's health. Oh, the pop-in on this game is atrocious. Everyone walks at 4 frames a second when they're more than 30 yards away. I'm gonna hide behind this rock. Let my incredibly poorly animated comrade take care of it. No. This is my hiding space. Mine. Mine. Oh no. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh no, why are there so many? Why don't I have any grenades? Because they haven't been invented yet, that's why. We have another instance here of all combat taking place at absurdly short range. I know that rifles then weren't what they are now, but it wasn't the case of everyone blasting away at each other from 5 yards apart. I'll take this revolver, thank you. Are they endlessly respawning? I think they might be endlessly respawning. Can't shoot a man holding a map, it's like shooting a man holding glasses. Ah! Hey, this works. My map armor is quite effective. There doesn't appear to be anything around the back of here. And this fire only seems to be cosmetic. The rest of the building seems entirely okay. So I'm not really sure why we had to kill all those guys. Well, the objective is to kill all the rebs, but they seem to just keep coming back, so my ammunition is running dangerously low. It's easy to mock them saying things like tarnation, but I'm told that when they were making Deadwood, they had to change a load of the period-accurate swearing because it made everyone sound like Yosemite Sam.
Will you look at that?
Wow, there must be 50 of them there at least. Maybe 100. Shame they haven't popped in. You know, I am surprised that the protagonist of this game, having been lifted from the 1870s and dropped into the Civil War, doesn't just run away and try and do the last 15 years of his life over again. Maybe not join General Custer's cavalry and get himself killed at the Little Bighorn. Might be a nicer way of things turning out than getting recruited as a weird time cop. I assume it's not just going to be plain sailing all the way back to camp, although the abrupt way the Russian front mission ended was not a great portent for that. Well, I see the glowing Pokeball markers, so going to collect me some Confederate soldiers. A strange amount of these guys I have to rescue from being killed by history. It's not a very healthy time army you're going to have if so many of them are former Confederate soldiers. That guy seems to be down but not dead, so I assume that's fine. You have to be kind of careful because you're meant to keep them from dying, except that your allies are very keen to just murder them all, and nobody ever explains why you're throwing Pokeballs around, so you just kind of have to do as much as you can. And I've run out now, so I just have to sort of wound them. Gotta hide until the blood fades from my face. Gotta shoot the rebs that are all over the place. If this game wasn't trying so hard, we'd say it lacked some taste, but that's just darkest of days. Dear God, you're ugly.
I ain't gonna miss another Christmas with my family, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know what Christmas with your family would be like. You haven't got any teeth. How are you going to eat the turkey? Why are you all the same guy? I know there was a lot of inbreeding back in these times, but 3 of you seem to be identical. Let's wipe out the family bloodline in a last-ditch charge against the Confederates. We haven't heard much from Dexter in this mission. Has he come with us, or have we just been dropped in on our own? I mean, he's enough of a weird southern cowboy that he might have been mistaken for a Confederate and shot.
Good job, men. I suggest you get some rest. I got a feeling we're gonna have a long day tomorrow.
Was that it? We hardly did anything. Where's the final battle? It really was just plain sailing to the exit. You see what I mean about this game having a weird sense of pace? You'll be stuck in an endless firefight for 5 minutes with no sense that the enemy aren't just endlessly respawning, and then it'll give you a clear run to the end of the level.
Your report is correct, Dexter. There was just too much land to cover, and the Confederate presence was much too strong in the area. We knew it was a long shot to find Welsh in the middle of the night. Now we have to do it the hard way. Welsh awaits a morning battle at Antietam, while we still have a rendezvous opportunity with Petrovich outside Frankenau.
Well, we could go on to our next mission, but we've been given 2 upgrade points for rescuing a small number of Confederate soldiers, so I might go and quickly upgrade one of my weapons. So I've got 3, and I could go up for a second upgrade to the rate of fire, or I could go for another reload speed. I think given that we're going to go back to the Russian front next, I think there might be a point accuracy, because we're up for some fairly big battles with quite rapid-fire weapons, so I think that is worthwhile. Let's see what's next.
Dannenberg is pretty well overrun by this point, if you haven't guessed. You need to head south toward Frankenau, where it looks like the Russians have a rendezvous point. If you're gonna find Petrovich, he'll be there. You got a big chunk of forest to get through, and there's Germans all over the place. You won't have to break through any lines, but I guarantee you'll take fire. You can go left or right or down the middle, but there's farmhouses, trees, all sorts of places for Germans to hide and hold the road. Stay close to cover. And don't be a goddamn hero. I've arranged for a shotgun to be left for you in a farmhouse. And this ain't no ordinary 12-gauge. This is a fully automatic, high-capacity, recoil-balanced, kick-ass combat shotgun. That'll give you an edge, but it won't make you bulletproof, so be careful.
So begin the compromises. We'll be given a feature weapon in order to tear through legions of German soldiers. This is typical of the rest of the experience of the game, frankly. I think they get a little bit bored with the historical realism aspect of this. So here we are. We have to go pick up our special weapon, and then we got to break the German lines. So testing out our accuracy upgrade. Oh yeah, that's it. Say hello to my quite large friend. He's called Dexter. Uh-oh. I got the grenade button and the bayonet button mixed up. So rather than giving me a bunch of allies this time, I really am just fighting through this one on my own for now. I imagine I'll join up with the other Russian soldiers later. And if I can break through this next, what looks like a group of German soldiers up the road, I should be able to get my super awesome future weapon. These guys aren't very good soldiers, they just run away whenever they're shot at. Gun, 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 gun. Oh no, not kill, not kill. Yes, the rest of you, kill. So what, it's in here? I need to break into this house? Can I just enter this house? I'm going to reload first, just in case. Oh yeah, no, there's Germans in here. Did he just run away? I mean, fine by me if so. Oh yeah, the ultra shotgun. Here we go. I only get 84 rounds, but that should be more than adequate for the rest of the mission. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. So, check the map, and well, we better proceed forward to the defensive line. This is one of the more open levels in the game, it seems. Few invisible walls, and I haven't got too many annoying, clingy allies to stick to. However, these guys are really not great at combat, are they? I feel like they're just providing me with opportunities to test out the awesome future shotgun. More incredibly close-range combat from identical clones. Well, we've got to take this hill. Can I charge vertically up it Skyrim style? It looks like I can. Oh! Hi comrades. No, not comrades yet, that's a different point in history. These definitely aren't comrades either. 2 in 1! Boom, headshot. Okay. I might have complained about the compromises, but this is better than firing the single-shot musket, yes. In this house, we obey the Hague Convention's provisions on use of poisonous gases. See, the problem with the future shotgun is that it's still a shotgun, so it's therefore not very good at long range. So I'm going to just quickly hide behind this building and grow my health back. Maybe take out a few from a distance. Oh no, you're Russians, I'm sorry. The combat music having faded implies that I might be out of the woods for now. Not literally, there are still lots and lots of woods around. This is a very foresty sort of game. I think it might be partly to hide the terrible draw distance. But anyway, we're nearly at the enemy defensive line, so we'll presumably breeze through that without any difficulty. Oh no, it's not the enemy defensive line, apparently it's our defensive line, which implies, ah yes, turret section. Time to meet our cowboy friend. That's a more effective looking defensive line. Let's see what they want us to do with it, because I imagine it's going to involve fending off hordes of Germans.
Oh, is he pissed? Maybe leaving the Germans right here wasn't the best idea. So much for my superior mission planning skills, huh? Well, we made this mess. We should probably clean it up. Head for the trenches and beat back the Germans.
Yep, thought so. On the machine gun. Excuse me. Well, I'm being hit by something. I think it's just the artillery. The only balancing point with the futuristic weapons is that you don't get proper ammo refills, so you are kind of limited when it comes to big waves like this. But I think, given the rate with which I'm tearing through these guys, we shouldn't have much to fear. And another one gone. And another one gone. And another one famously bites the dust. Unfortunately, I am now down to my last 3 awesome super shotgun shells, so unless I can clear out the entire German Eastern Front army with this, we might be in a bit of trouble. No, we're back to the period weapons, although still doing a pretty effective job with them. Ah, now we're becoming problematic, yes. I'm just gonna fall back for a moment, because there don't actually seem to be any consequences. I don't know what the defeat state is here, other than the player themselves dying. It doesn't seem to matter if all the Russian troopers get taken down. No, we've clearly done it. It wasn't as big of a assault as I anticipated, frankly. So where is Dexter? Let's have a look at the face map. Ah, yeah, there he is. Okay. I think that's him hiding over by that rock, is it? No, he's further up there. Either way, he's staying out of the way like a big coward.
Those Germans just keep coming, and the best way to overcome a numerical advantage is vastly superior firepower. I advise you to unleash its righteous fury on the battleground, preferably the Germans.
But, you know, in a way that doesn't mess with history or anything. Ah, yes, I see where this is going. Ah, okay, yes. Here's where the fun begins. I'll be honest, this doesn't seem a massively efficient weapon. I'd prefer it to just fire directly at the enemy rather than sort of splattering vaguely near them a few seconds after firing. Oh, I see. I've got to hold it where I want the missiles to go. That makes more sense. I cannot see a thing. Apart from my own missiles. This is somewhat entertaining, I suppose, although I still would have preferred just a big machine gun. There doesn't seem to be really much strategy to this other than just sort of sweep the battlefield in explosions, which I do get from a First World War, you know, static defense point of view, but, you know, don't they have actual artillery for that? A real difficulty with this game is that you don't have a particular monitor of when your win condition is met. How are you supposed to know when you've legitimately destroyed all the Germans? Also, my missiles keep landing on me, which is less than optimal, frankly. Go over there.
All right, give me that. We can't have just anybody get their dick beaters on it. We're done at these trenches. Go join up with that patrol.
You didn't finish voice acting that line. Say, and I'll meet you later. Say, and I'll meet you later. Fine. I don't seem to have any ammunition. I've just got my Pokeballs. Anyone need the Pokeballs? I could catch you a Charizard. It might help you win the war. Okay. This seems suboptimal. What's going on? Why are there guys coming out of the... Why are there portals full of men with machine guns? I don't understand what's going on. Help! Help me, Australian lady!
Dexter, I've just reviewed your mission report. I can't believe this. A direct intervention by unknowns trying to change history? This is... I can't... There's no precedent for this. And you say your weapons just bounce right off them? Who are these interlopers? We must find out. I'll have the team here find out what they can. In the meantime, we should stay out of World War I. Welsh is more important now anyway. I'm off to brief the team.
Well, we have at least got 3 upgrade points after that disaster, so I'm just going to quickly upgrade. Is it worth continuing to upgrade the rifle, or should I put some points into the sidearm? Honestly, I don't find myself using the sidearms that much, but they are useful when I'm doing the Civil War missions. I'll just get the reload speed and the clip size for the rifle up a little bit.
You're from a time before pizza.
Yes, I am indeed from a time before pizza, unless I was Italian, which is entirely possible, although I don't think that was the case given the character's last name. Although I don't remember what it was. Harris? Something like that? Not Italian, at any rate. Right, so before I head on and do more missions, I am going... Shut up, Dexter.
Rabbi and Abraham Lincoln walking into a bar.
I'm going to stand over here and ignore you.
Bartender looks at him and says, "What is this? Some kind of joke?"
God, that's awful, even for this game's writing. Right, anyway, thank you for joining me on this set of missions through Darkest of Days. We shall be continuing next time with a return to the Civil War setting, and we'll see whether we can figure out who these gentlemen are who are appearing through the mysterious portals and trying to shoot me dead.
You'd think with all this fighting
Thank you for joining me again. If you enjoyed this, I've got another series on the go at the moment. I'm playing through Resident Evil 4. That's coming out on Saturdays to alternate between this coming out on Wednesdays, and I might throw a few one-offs in the mix as well. I'm also on Patreon. If you want to go to patreon.com/digitalwilds, I'd really appreciate it if you could chuck me a couple of quid a month just to help keep things running. I've ordered a new microphone. That's on the way, so audio quality should be massively improved soon. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.